Hello, everybody. Welcome along. My name is Benjamin Bloom. This is the Benjamin Bloom Football Channel. Please leave your bias at the door and join us for episode 4 of our transfer update series. This is where we look at the signings in the Championship. In the main, we look at players coming in, but if there's a big deal out that we think is going to make some cascade effect on some money coming into the division, we'll look at that. In the main, I want done deals. I want a club website announcement. I want to see the player. He's done the holding the shirt and he's done the boring I can't wait to get started interview. That's what we're looking for. So any rumours or anything, they can stay on Twitter for the hashtag ITK accounts, and we'll just deal with the done deals here. And hopefully by the time we go through the summer, we'll have spoken about every single player that's come into the Championship, possibly give or take one or two that may get missed along the way. And with that being said, it has been very, very busy these past few days. Contract Armageddon Day was July the 1st, wasn't it? And everything's opening up now. The window's open. And what we've seen happening is a couple of sort of decent-sized deals for fees. We've seen some people do pre-contracts ahead of moves, but now what you're going to see is a lot of movement, particularly with players whose contracts are now expired and they've moved away from said club. So it's been very busy. For complete transparency, it is 8:58 a.m. on Friday. Therefore, if your transfer goes through now after 9 a.m. on Friday, it will not be mentioned in this video. You may point that out to me. Try and be polite. And it will go in the next video. If there's any you think that have gone through that haven't been in other of the videos and we haven't included, then we will get on to them. Right, I think we've got 9 or 10 to talk about, so I'll stop waffling and we'll get into the first one, which is Sammy Amiobi into Borough. Can't quite see his face there, but we get the gist of it. 29-year-old joining up with Neil Warnock, second signing of the summer. Amiobi has clocked up almost 300 career games. Interesting, and you can see started off up at Newcastle, didn't he? Loan spells with Cardiff and Bolton. Was Warnock at Cardiff when Amiobi went there on loan? Interesting. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know if my timelines add up there. Joined Forest. And let's talk about Amiobi at Forest, because let's be honest, he had a bit of a reputation as a player where you can see the potential and there's this fine physical specimen who could dribble, but sometimes you got the feeling that what was happening, perhaps the feet were moving quicker than the brain sometimes, and you'd see all this potential and then some inconsistencies would come in. Typical winger, basically, is what we're saying. But I have to say, and we've got to have a mention for Sabri Lamucci here, really got him playing well at Forest in that first season. Obviously, Chris Hughton doesn't particularly fancy him, and I think we know at Forest, given all the incomings, outgoings, etc., they do need a big cull on that squad. And Amiobi's gone out, and look, if you're going to go somewhere, Middlesbrough, Warnock, he'll get the best out of him, won't he? And remember what Warnock always says. He says people can say what they like about his football, but it's direct. And if you want to see shots and people trying to take people on, and you want to see goals, you do get it from Neil Warnock's sides. They're direct, but they, if the game's level with 10, 15 to go, he'll go for the win with the risk of losing. So Amiobi seems like a typical Warnock signing, experienced Championship, big, direct, good dribbler. Seems to make all the sense in the world. And of course, Warnock last season really wasn't happy with Assombalonga and Fletcher, and very publicly dismissed his goal scoring options. Obviously, Amiobi's not going to play up top, and big links with Ikpeazu from Wickham. Find out what division Wickham are actually going to be in first. But yeah, expect Warnock to now really start Warnockizing this Middlesbrough squad. So that looks like a good deal Free transfer, is it? I'm guessing it is. I'm not seeing a mention. It's probably written in there. I'm assuming that's a free transfer. Anyway, you know my feelings on transfer fees. No one knows them anyway, do they? Or how they're done. So looks like a fairly safe, sensible deal, and expect Amiobi to be on the pitch a fair amount for Borough this season. Here's an interesting one. Daniel Ballard from Arsenal to Millwall on a loan. Now, those people who joined me for the League One playoffs will know that Ballard was on loan at Blackpool last season, where he was decent, wasn't he? Playing in a back four there as Blackpool got promoted. 21 years old. It's an interesting one because Millwall have just had Hutchison and Cooper for the longest time. But maybe this is Rowett really, really wants to go to a 3 and needs extra bodies. And I think this mightn't be a bad one, mightn't it? He's probably ready for this division. 30 appearances last season in the League One for Blackpool, and like I said, going up through the playoffs. Northern Ireland debut already. Interesting. So yeah, this looks like quite a fun one. Obviously, as I said, Cooper and Hutchison, excellent players there, but a youngster in on loan for the season. Obviously, Millwall fans will remember Troy Parrott coming in and big expectations there. So perhaps they'll stay calm on that one. But you would think to go alongside a Cooper or a Hutchison with a manager like Rowett who knows how to play pragmatic football, doesn't it? It'd be very good for Ballard's development in terms of the highest level he's played at and learning his trade, etc. And we'll see where this one goes, because often, and I don't want to dismiss Ballard's chances of ever getting in at Arsenal, but often when a player has gone past that age 20 and, you know, they're not Mason Mount or Reece James, the future can often be loans, and, you know, the loan club can pick them up in the end if they're not cracking the Premier League by that age. You sometimes wonder whether the future is away. So it could be something good long term for Millwall, and lots of links with Benik Afobe yesterday. But yes, we will talk about that as and when it's done. George Saville as well, possibly for a return. So interesting times at Millwall, who always recruit very diligently, don't they? Right, let's go across to Peterborough, because Peterborough, look, we've had a big splurge at Luton, a big splurge at Blackpool, a big splurge at Huddersfield. Let's have a look at Peterborough. 3 players in now, and a very interesting one there. Jack Marriott, who's only 26. Amazing. Feels like he's been around for the longest time. Obviously, I know him being an Ipswich fan because he was there years ago, went off to Luton. But the big one here is he scored 33 goals in one season in League One for Peterborough, before going off with Frank Lampard to Derby for the thick end of £5 million, we think. Another off that production line of Gale, Assombalonga, Tony. I'll forget other ones. There will be other ones. These Peterborough strikers that have joined up in League One. The team's been built around them, you know, making chances for them and them scoring goals and then being sailed on. And it's finally got Peterborough into the Championship. And quite smartly, they've brought one of them back. At Derby, it's a strange one with Marriott, because he's obviously this striker who likes to run in behind and score goals, basically. That's it. It's a pretty good trick, though, if you can do it 33 times in one season. But at Derby and 4-2-3-1s and 4-3-3s, it never really quite worked. And obviously, famously, he came in the playoff semi-finals and scored twice, didn't he, including the winning goal, and then didn't start the final and came on off the bench and scored as well, didn't he? So there was a sense that he was kind of there or thereabout, but never really trusted as a first teamer. And from the interactions I had on Twitter yesterday, the idea that some people just fit at a certain club. Maybe that'll be the case for Marriott. I'm sure the Peterborough fans will be super pleased to see him back. Obviously, they've had, since him, Ivan Toney and now Clark Harris up top. So Peterborough never short of good strikers, particularly at a League One level. And in comes Marriott. You'd have to say not proven yet at Championship level, but perhaps Peterborough is the best place for him. You tell me. I was expecting him to be older than 26, I have to say. 3-year deal, I think undisclosed. No, 3-year contract. So I think it's a free transfer. God, Derby have lost money there. Now, here's an interesting one as well. I say that on all of them, don't I? Lincoln midfielder George Grant joins up. Another 26-year-old, scored 17 goals from midfield. And this is a very obvious example of a team being promoted in League One, going back to a team that lost in the playoff final, didn't they? And picking up their best player. Grant was excellent last season. So I like this signing a lot. Obviously, Darren Ferguson and Peterborough know the League One market, having been in it for the longest time. In he comes. Now, I do believe they've paid a fee here. Undisclosed fee. So we don't know what that is. But good age, good calibre. And we've spoken about this a lot in terms of bridging the Championship to Premier League gap, haven't we? Where you almost need to pick up players where if the worst does happen, you come back down and you're better for it and you're too strong. There's a lot of sense from a lot of people that Peterborough will score enough goals and be attacking enough that won't be an issue. But it's sensible recruitment, isn't it? Take the best players from your previous league and kind of work from there. And depending on what fees and salaries are, that probably be an interesting one. And I very much look forward to seeing how Grant steps up to Championship level. Maybe he'll get things together with Marriott and that'll be a good partnership there. Certainly going to be good fun, Peterborough. One more in at Posh, and I know this player well because he's an Ipswich player. Dai Cornell, 30-year-old goalkeeper. Couldn't quite get into the Ipswich team ahead of Thomas Holly. I think Darren Ferguson there's saying that he'll be competition for Christy Primm. But I would suspect, I don't want to rain on anyone's parade here, that he's going to be on the bench. But reliable guy. He's been around Northampton, so this sort of area, I say this sort of area, I'm sat here in Bedfordshire now, so he's not moved too far. He's a good age, he's reliable, not bad with his feet actually, Dai Cornell, but I suspect he'll be the sub-keeper. So good moves from Peterborough actually. I think what you look for often with signings is, here's your team, players arrive, go straight into the team and we'll improve it. And I think particularly on Grant and Marriott, you would say so, wouldn't you? Here is Michael Oli Sunday, who has arrived at Preston on a free from Rotherham. Bit of a disappointing one for Rotherham that he'll go for free. Oli Sunday, have we got an age for him? Only 23 years old. So obviously Rotherham have bounced about, haven't they? Between League One, Championship, relegated. Oli Sunday played plenty of times right wing back in the main. So as you can imagine, if he's played for Paul Warren, he'll probably be pretty decent tactically. He'll be very fit. He'll probably be good at crossing as well. And look, it's a pickup on a free of a player who's 23, who's got, I assume he was at, someone fact check me on that, at Rotherham last time they were up as well, because there hasn't been too much to it and fro in there. So Championship experience, good agent. In he comes at Preston as Frankie McAvoy starts to build his own squad there. Now the Alex Neil era is over. So good luck to Oli Sunday. And maybe they'll go three at the back and he'll play wing back. Maybe he'll play full back, and I'll stop seeing Alan Brown getting used to right back, which I found a bit of a waste at Preston. But there you go. What do I know? What I do know is that Gillingham goalkeeper Jack Bonham has gone in at Stoke, not the Led Zeppelin drummer. 27-year-old, joins after Ben Wilmot has as well. Michael O'Neill there quoted talking about Adam Davis, Joe Bursick, Blondie Nurku. Tricky one for me to say. I'm sure he won't be on the pitch too much. It looks like he's the third or fourth choice there. But the point I was going to make is that they had a real crisis, didn't they, in goal at Stoke last season. And Angus Gunn came on. I didn't have to take Andy Lonergan at one point, aged nearly 40 or something. So, they've got to figure it out. You'd assume that Davies is the first choice. But we'll see. I'm sure they'll all train together and goalkeeping coaches and Michael O'Neill will fix that. But they would really, really prefer a 40-plus appearance goalkeeping first choice because they had to flit about. And, of course, Bursick then ended up going on loan and back again. And he was on loan like 3 times in League One, wasn't he? And this is the latest part of Stoke now, whose parachute payments are done. They need to cut costs. They need to get the FFP and everything in line after some pretty harrowing financial results. Ben Wilmot's obviously come in after Nathan Collins has gone out. Won't be the last movement we'll see at Stoke in, or most definitely not out. But in comes Jack Bonham into the goalkeeping roster. And here's Ben Sheaf arriving in full time at Coventry. And there you go. My point stands on someone like Dan Ballard when you're looking at their 21, 22, 23 and they're at a club like Arsenal. So Sheaf goes on loan to Coventry last season in that central midfield area. I was quite surprised when I looked at this. It says how many? 32 appearances. I don't know how many of them are as sub because obviously Gus Hamer was a bit of a star in central midfield, wasn't he? And then in the second half of the season, they had Matty James on loan. But Coventry's recruitment's been really smart over the past few years, hasn't it? And I do like the idea that you take someone on loan, they develop. Maybe someone like a Matty James is ahead of them. Matty James goes off to Bristol City now, and maybe Sheaf can come in and step in with Gus Hamer. Look, obviously, he's going to have been well schooled at Arsenal, 23 years old, and looks like another tick in the box for Coventry for a good deal of a young player with good calibre. They know him. He was there all last season, so feels like a bit of a no-brainer. Let's see if he can really, if someone like Matty James is not around now, really get himself into that team and provide value on the pitch and perhaps on the balance sheet as well. And I think this is the last one. Nathan Baxter. Hull are delighted to announce the signing of goalkeeper Baxter, season on loan from Chelsea. Interesting one. 22 years old, 150 appearances across loan spells with 6 different clubs. Most recently, Accrington in League One last season. Now, you'll have to forgive me. I'm not entirely sure on the Hull goalkeeping roster. We have seen clubs, got to remember Chris Wilder used to do it, Sheffield United with Jamal Blackman and Dean Henderson obviously was really good, wasn't he? So we have seen clubs use lone goalkeepers all season as their first choices. So forgive me, I don't know whether he'll be on the bench, or I'm not entirely sure why you would use up a loan signing for a reserve goalkeeper on the basis that most clubs have a young goalkeeper and an old goalkeeper and a first team goalkeeper. So perhaps Hull will use that logic. Remember the idea? Who was the guy who used to do Newcastle when Newcastle were good under Pardew? I can't remember. Carr. And the idea was that goalkeepers are massively undervalued, and that in terms of points improvement in your team, it's really worth having one. And it's really worth having a goal. You know what I'm saying, don't you? For goodness sake, no one clip that bit out. But if this is a much higher standard goalkeeper than they perhaps think they can get, and let's be honest, Chelsea, there's often a lot of good players who, frankly, are going to have no hope of getting anywhere near the Chelsea team, and it's all balance sheet football, isn't it? Then maybe he goes in and has he got England representative stuff? Not really, no. Interesting. So it doesn't look like he's done the England representative team. So look, we will see. We will find out how training goes there and whether Hull are using the Chris Wilder tactic of having a high-end lone goalkeeper as their first choice. I'm sure Hull fans will help me out with that in the comments. There you go. We've gone all the way around back to Sammy Amiobi. That is our latest transfer update. Give me your thoughts on any of those deals. If you're a supporter of the selling club or the buying club, or frankly, you don't have to be a supporter of anyone to comment on whether you think it's a good deal or a bad deal and which ones you like, who's doing what. That is episode 4. Now, look, it's Friday, so expect more action today. Deals will be done today. Again, it's now 20 past 9 because I've been talking for the last 20 minutes and I've got Euro quarterfinals. So any deals are probably going to have to wait until Sunday or Monday now. So if you're watching this, I don't know, over the weekend or on Friday afternoon and I haven't mentioned X deal, that is why. Okay. So I've had my say, now you have yours. Get involved in the comments. This series will go all the way up to the end of the transfer window. I think we had like 25 videos on last one. So keep in touch with it. We'll try and do it every 8 to 10 transfers and we'll see the ebbs and flows. And I keep mentioning it, but we will get the big deal maybe when the Euros is done. The Cascade deal, whether it's Harry Kane or Jack Grealish that puts money in. And somewhere down the line, that money will reach the Championship. And we'll be talking about perhaps a certain team cashing in and a big actual fee being paid. Not that we'll ever find out what it is in undisclosed world, but there you go. Right, thank you everybody for watching. Next Transfer Update episode 4. Get in the comments, and it's a big over and out from me. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button to see more videos from this channel. Hit the subscribe button and to be notified every time we upload. Ring the bell for those notifications to come through on your device. If you really want to support the channel and me as a content creator, I will be eternally grateful if you head over to the merch store and grab something, or support over on Patreon, patreon.com/Benjamin Bloom. Thank you for your time. Go and watch another video.